What's your excuse? How you doing, YouTube? This is Will from Will Development, and today is my 72nd weekly update, or weekly update 72, for those of you who can't understand conjugations. Actually, I don't know if that's a conjugation. I don't know what the fuck to call that. If you're curious as to why I'm wearing this trench coat and hat, but you don't care about that, so I'll just jump right into the nitty-gritty of it. Body weight this week has been consistently right at 180 pounds. I'll be totally honest with you, and I think from this point until I get to, honestly, probably like MegaCon, I'm not going to monitor my fat anymore because it's been so consistent right around 9 to 10% that I've just stopped measuring it every morning. I can pretty much tell by the way I look how much I weigh anymore. And the muscle is finally starting to go over the extra skin and fat that I have hanging around my body. So I've just stopped monitoring it pretty much altogether. So don't expect to hear any more about my body fat. Probably for the next, I would say 10 to 15 weekly updates. I'm just not going to pay attention to it anymore. Not that that part of my life is over or anything. It's just I'm focused more on, per se, gaining weight in general, or staying in a midline or a baseline, which is right at 180. And as I mentioned last week, I believe I was going to change my diet and start adding beef into the regimen, which I did. And strength-wise or, gains-wise, I haven't really felt much of a difference. But where I have felt the difference is in my digestion. It seems to be easier on my general digestive health. It seems easier on my whole body, really, to have different proteins. And all I did was switch out 2 meals a day to beef instead of chicken. And the only reason I've done that is because beef is so damned expensive compared to chicken, or else I would do more. I even actually ran out. So I might switch from 4 ounces of beef to 3.5 just to make it last the whole week, and then make up the protein loss there of the ½ ounce of beef with another 1/4 ounce of chicken or something along those lines. So I do definitely recommend getting alternative sources of protein throughout the day and even during the week, just for digestive health and the fact that your body can tend to get used to the same shit if you just keep feeding it the same thing over and over. And it will, I feel that it's making me feel a little bit better. Now we'll jump into the good stuff. So my big 4, day 1 was squats, hit a PR of 235 for 1, and then finally started implementing drop sets into my squats, which I hadn't been doing in the past just because it's probably my weakest movement of the big 4, which I am working on, and did drop sets down to 225 and then 135, just really burning out the muscles, and I'm honestly still feeling it a little bit today, which is good. Also hit overhead press for 145. I need that to be up somewhere in the 200 range. So I'm really, or I'm sorry, I apologize. It was 150 I hit for a one rep PR. It was 150. Immediately into a drop set, 145, 135, and 115 with numbers going up and up. Followed that up with a bunch of axle overhead presses, which I didn't finish, and some axle squats for mainly hypertrophy, and it just tore me the fuck up, to say the least. Quick note, I didn't film it, but the only difference between my axle bar squat versus my standard or Olympic bar squat, I do low bar squats. I prefer them. I feel that they help my posterior chain, which is one of my weaker areas, as well as total body, really Mark Rippetoe style squats. When I do axle bar squats, I do really high bar. Like that bitch it might as well be on my head. And I change up my footing a little bit. I go a little bit more narrow, and I drop a lot lower because it's a more narrow stance, and I go through a much fuller range of motion. But again, I'm only doing those for hypertrophy purposes, and I just prefer the axle bar for high bar because it's thicker, so it tends to hurt my neck less. What can I say? Day 2, hit the bench, new PR of 235, same as my squat. Don't worry, at some point my bench will plateau and my squat will overtake it. I'm hoping significantly. Only reason it's the same right now is because when I was first starting out, all I did was bench and rows and things like that. Didn't even bother my legs other than deadlifts. It's because of that I have a huge imbalance between my upper body and my lower body, but eventually it will even out and you'll start to hear numbers, around like 3-something squat and 2-something bench. So it's just how it is. And then today I hit the deadlift, hit a new PR of 345. That was rough as fuck, barely pulled it. So what I did was I did kind of a powerlifting thing and just hung out for 10 minutes, relaxed, breathed, just rested, came back and hit it again, much cleaner. Stupid me didn't film it, wasn't sure if I could hit it, but I did. And then immediately did drop sets way down into it. And then instead of doing any other movements today, because I feel really burned out, I decided to just do Romanian deadlifts and just really burn out, starting with 135 and then literally just dropping to the bar and just doing that until I could do no more. And it really tore me up and I felt it. So that's what happened this week. Got a link in the description below for the latest installment of Nate and I Making a Stone. Coming near the end, I believe this is part 6 or 7 that just came out of 9, so click on that link. I hope you enjoy it. But if you don't check out that link, then what's your excuse?